good story about the origins of Pounamu. And there'll be a backstory to that at another time. Because,
okay, looking forward to that one.
Because Poutini was the taniwha of Ngahue, which is another part of the story of Pounamu, the origins of Pounamu. We'll leave, we'll park that
It's like the prelude.
Yeah, it's like sort of like these days now, with movies coming out of Hollywood and stuff, they're into doing the backstory and stuff. So we can do that. We can roll like that.
Yeah. Hard out.
But the very interesting kōrero about the origins of Pounamu.
Heaps of places mentioned too.
There are.
Yeah, so TUHUA, I was a bit confused of where that was.
To my knowledge, TUHUA is the island of TUHUA.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mare Island.
Mare Island.
Yeah.
So off the coast from Waihi Beach.
Yeah.
Those ways, eh?
Yeah. Waihi up past Tauranga.
Yeah.
Ko TUHUA tērā.
TUHUA?
I don't know where the location of the hill TUHUA is in Te Wai Pounamu in the end of the story, but the TUHUA where the story starts is Mare Island.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I had no idea that Waitaiki, Tamahua and Poutini started up there.
And the other interesting thing too is TUHUA is also another word for mata or obsidian. So volcanic glass.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a lot of it there in TUHUA.
Okay.
So you got all this kōrero going on through the story, the places they stopped, and there's specific stones there or rocks. And there's some of these locations. And TUHUA is where...
Obsidian.
Yeah, there's obsidian there. And the taniwha whatipu, or another kōrero, is AKA for whaiapu.
Whaiapu.
Yeah, so whaiapu again is another...
AKA for...
Yeah, what they say down the coast is waiapu.
Waiapu.
Yeah, so whaiapu is a flint stone.
Oh, yeah. Is it similar to pakeha?
Pakeha is in the other regions where the story... So we've got... I wrote them down. So we've got Tahanga.
Yeah.
Where they stopped at Onepito Bay.
Yeah.
So that's sort of like on the Coromandel Peninsula, but on the western side, Te Tara o Te Ika. Sorry, on the eastern side of Coromandel Peninsula, or Pito Bay.
Yeah.
And there's a place called Tahanga. And that's where there's a huge quarry of onewa there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so basalt.
Yeah, basalt. Onewa.
Yeah, which was another tool or rock that our tupuna used, was onewa. So they made toki out of it.
Yeah.
Patu as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, so that's a place where they stopped.
Yeah.
The other one, whangamata.
Yep.
There's a whangamata up there, but this whangamata in the kōrero is taupo, and there's a place that taupo called whangamata, and apparently there's lots of obsidian there as well.
Oh, okay.
And then Rangitoto, this Rangitoto is Derville Island.
Yeah, Derville, yeah.
Whangamoa and One Tahua.
Yep, which is by Golden Bay.
Fair well split.
Yeah, fair well split.
So they're all deposits of pakeha there. Was it argillite or argillite? I think it's up to you how you say it.
Yeah.
And then Pāhua is another place where they stopped. And again, there's another deposits of flint there.
Yeah.
And the flint was used to drill Pounamu. So there's very few stones that
can shape it.
And flint is one. And then, of course, where they stopped in Takiwai, Pio Tahi, Milford Sound.
Yeah.
There's a deposit of bowenite there, which is Tangiwai.
Tangiwai, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that metaphor in the story is so beautiful.
About her crying.
Yeah.
And when you see Tangiwai, it is... It's got another wairua.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah, it is more translucent.
Definitely.
Inanga is the one of the specks in it, eh?
Yeah, there's Inanga, Tangiwai, there's a Kahurangi.
Yeah.
Kahotea is another one.
Kahotea, yeah.
I've heard Totoweka is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Tangiwai is... Or where it is at Takiwai there. It's Tangiwai. As bowenite. Of
course. Takiwai.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Te reo ngai tahu nera.
Te kapa.
Well, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas Pounamu is nephrite.
Yeah.
And Tangiwai is bowenite. Yeah, they're related.
Yeah, they're related.
Yeah, but the nephrite is much more harder than the nephrite. But they still make...
The nephrite is much more harder than the nephrite.
Sorry, the nephrite is harder than the bowenite. So Pounamu is harder than Tangiwai.
Well, that makes sense because the takiwai is more translucent, so...
They still made patu and things out of it, though.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, if you gave
like
someone...
actual fighting ones.
Yeah, if you gave someone a dong with a tangiwai, you know, still going to put them out.
Have some impact. Yeah,
but it's not as hard as the nephrite. So, yeah, that's interesting about those deposits of those toka and how they relate to the story.
Yeah. It's like a breadcrumb trail.
It is.
Yeah. So you can kind of see the path that they took through the stones that were left behind.
Koina.
Reminds me of that story of Ngā Toroirangi, and he leaves the trail of thermal puya behind him.
Yes. Well, you heard that Tamahua made a little reference to the Waiariki, and that could be a clue of one of our future...
Oh, so they must be related
of our
somehow.
I don't know about that, but there's definitely be a one upon a time about that story.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But, you know, we have lots of sayings i roto i te ao Māori, kupu whakarite. So at the start, the story starts... Taku kuru Pounamu.
Yeah.
My greenstone ornament treasure. So that's a kupu you can use to someone. It's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
So taku kuru Pounamu. I've got an auntie that she always refers, she says it to me, taku kuru Pounamu. So your loved one.
Yeah.
Could be to a niece, nephew, mokopuna, or even, you know, might be your kiri. Tō kuru Pounamu.
Yeah. Could be,
Yeah. Kai pētahi e whakaiki tērā, but hey. So there's lots of kupu like that, the different Pounamu, and then koko tangi wai.
Yeah, koko tangi wai,
Motoi kahurangi.
Oh, yes, motoi kahurangi, I've heard that one.
Yeah, the different types of Pounamu. And
kahurangi, was that the more prized Pounamu, I've heard?
I'm not a Pounamu expert, you know, and I wouldn't be able to, if you put a whole lot of Pounamu on the table, I wouldn't be able to say with confidence that is an inanga, and that is, you know what I mean? Because there's kawakawa as well.
Yes.
I think though with those ones, those are nephrite. The kawakawa is the dark green Pounamu. It's a bit more darker. Kahurangi, is of higher quality, and I think is a bit more blue.
Yeah.
It's a bit more blue hue to it.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on that, but definitely there are terms that are used in our motetea. Because that was the bling of the Māori,
definitely.
You know, is Pounamu, still is today.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful Pounamu pieces, and they're timeless, you know. We've got, as I'm sure a lot of whānau have heritage pieces that have been passed down.
Yeah.
And there's one that we have in our whānau. I'm not wearing her at the moment, but she's hundreds of years old.
Cool.
Yeah. So they stand.
Do you know where she came from?
Well, it's my great. It's like goes back, I think, 8-9 generations.
Oh man, that's awesome.
The origin of the tiki, So,
that's beautiful.
And they were imbued as the tiki is passed on down through whānau, whether it is a tiki, an earring, a koko, they are imbued with the mana of the previous wearer.
Yeah.
The tiki that we've got, the side that's to the skin is smooth, and it's from all those years of its of rubbing against the different owners or keepers, I should say, not owners, kaitiaki of the tiki.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And if you look at the old tiki, you've got to imagine how they fashioned them without modern day diamond drills and things like that. So, you know, it was using water, sandstone to rub and shape the outside, and then the flint and things to drill it and to cut it and to get the shapes is, you know, nothing short of magnificent, really.
It would have taken like a lot of skill, a lot of time too.
Hence the saying, aha ko he iti he Pounamu.
Yeah.
I don't think I know we don't put as much value on that whakatauki as we once did. Because now you can go and...
Yeah, they're readily available.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can pick up a small Pounamu pendant for a reasonable price and not have to, lose an arm and leg over it.
Yeah.
Whereas in the old days, just to get a raw piece of Pounamu from Te Wai Pounamu, hundreds of miles away, so that Pounamu would have arrived through lots of trade.
Yeah.
Trading, bargaining to get that piece of Pounamu. Then you've got to fashion it and be learned in doing that.
Yeah.
So you can fashion a patu or fashion a toki or a tiki or earrings or whatever. It was a very lengthy process.
Yeah.
And you're talking about months.
Yeah, definitely.
Hundreds of hours of work to get it done.
Yeah.
And that added to the mana of the piece.
Yeah.
The time it took, well, first off, to get it here. So imagine if you were way up north.
Yeah.
And you wanted to fashion a new piece for your whānau or hapu. And you started from a raw piece of greenstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, or that a lot of time was a mere Pounamu that was traded, so it could broker peace in times of war.
Yeah.
There's lots of stories.
Or tatau Pounamu.
The saying of a tatau Pounamu, a greenstone door, was that it was peace that could not be broken.
Yeah.
Which was usually a marriage between two people. In other instances, a tatau Pounamu, you could symbolically marry your tribal mountain or the mountain of your iwi to another iwi.
Oh, really?
Yes, which signified a tatau Pounamu.
Yeah.
Or the gifting of significant piece of Pounamu, a papa Pounamu, or a mere Pounamu.
Okay.
And a lot of the mere Pounamu were like, I guess, the Excalibur of that particular iwi or hapu.
Yeah.
And you could trade that even for the life of somebody. That's how valuable these relics were.
Yeah.
They're relics now. You can see some of them in the museums around Te Motu, but they're sung about in our mōtetea. They're mentioned in mōtetea, particular mere Pounamu that were given sometimes as payment for a deed that was done. Or a gift.
Man, that'd be like...
Or as I said, to broker peace.
Yeah.
To give passage was another one.
Yeah.
So I want to cross through your territory. Well, what are you going to give me? Oh, well, you can have this mere Pounamu. And that could even set the pathway for your descendants. So you'd always have a pathway through that particular hapu and go back through. But it worked the other way. So, okay, actually, as a contractual agreement, well, actually, no. So you'd give the mere Pounamu back. I haven't heard of that happening in many instances. So there's a lot of mana and tapu around Pounamu.
Yeah. And also with it being such a sought-after, valuable possession, there's accounts of people back in the islands, so in like Tahiti and Rarotonga, having them. So that even further proves to me that there were many waka coming and going to get whatever from New Zealand, and we're taking back Pounamu as well. Well,
yeah, it's interesting because there, the story about ngahue, when we do talk about it, but this ngahue took some Pounamu back to Hawaiiki as the story, and from that block of Pounamu was fashioned some of the famous adzes, which like the mere Pounamu are sung about and talked about in our histories.
Cool.
As well as a pendant.
Yeah.
And nearing, which is still looked after by one of the iwi of Aotearoa.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to that part of the story.
Yeah. So Pounamu is a lot of mana attached to Pounamu. And again, there's tikanga around Pounamu when you give a piece.
Yeah.
People like to have a whakarite for it, to have it blessed.
Yeah.
It's to remove any of the tapu around the making of the Pounamu and sort of give it a refresh and have it ready for the new
set
kaitiaki.
The new intentions. Yep. What about tikanga around harvesting or gathering it, do you know?
Well, not anybody can just rock up.
Yeah.
I think there was a time where it wasn't managed. So the Pounamu deposits in Te Wai Pounamu. So all of the Pounamu comes from the west coast of the South Island. Hence we have the name Te Wai Pounamu, the greenstone waters.
Yeah.
Even though Arahura is the awa that featured in our kōrero, in our wanapana taima, there are other rivers where you can source the Pounamu from.
Yeah.
But the hapu and iwi of those awa, where the Pounamu is sourced, they are the kaitiaki of those rivers. I remember years ago now, some guys got caught trying to bring out a mother load of Pounamu by helicopter.
Yeah. I think I saw this on the news or something.
Yeah, it was a huge Pounamu boulder.
Yeah.
Ngāti Waiwai are one of the hapu of that part of the tai o Poutini.
Yeah.
the West Coast, that look after the river down there, and they had an opening a few years ago now, and the teko on their wharenui is made out of Pounamu.
Yes, that's so beautiful.
It's
I've
pretty
seen
cool though,
photos
eh?
of it. I
Yeah.
haven't been there yet.
So, yeah, not anybody can just rock up. And a lot of the reputable sites online and shops where you can buy Pounamu pieces from, they even have like a tracking number on them, so you can actually track them.
Where it came from.
Yeah, from which river and to the person that got it. Actually, I might be exaggerating with that part, with who got it, but it does have you can track it with a number.
Yeah.
So you know exactly from which block it came from.
Yeah.
So the whakapapa of your piece.
Mean.
And I will never be lost. I am a seed born of greatness, descended from
Well, this is Tarereki Whenua Uta. This is about our connection to the South Island. It's named after the old meeting house on the Bluff Marae. This is named for the words of Tamatea, Arikinui, who said, "Tuhuna te waka kia Tarereki Uta." So Tarere Whenua Uta is allowing the canoe to go ashore. It's done in a double-handed style. It's execution time with these ones. This is too big to be fighting with because it's just too big, but it's used for other purposes. So a lot of people, these ones disappeared quite early. I remember trying to bring this back on Air New Zealand and running into, they wouldn't let me take it on the plane. I didn't want to part up with it. Well, hang on, this is not a weapon of war anymore. This is a taonga for the marae. But nonetheless, the captain on the day of Air New Zealand, he had his day, so down in the hole with that. Almost went down with it myself. I'd rather have travelled there. For me, this is really a great beauty. This is kutu mai. This is our ancestors. It's one of our Ngāti Huirapa connections, but she ended up her life in Riverton, and so this is where my grandmother came from. So this has been very special kutu mai, and this has seen many an occasion in our family. And this is the kokopu mere called Toiahurei. You can see here the kokopu. This is the native fish that this speckle on the belly resembles. You just don't get to see kokopu very much, and you don't get to see kokopu of this beauty, hardly ever. And then to find a mere with it on, wow. I saw this in a shop up here in Cuba Street, and I couldn't believe it was just sitting there. And I reached quietly down and picked it up and never let it go until it was paid for in mine. And I knew exactly, because I'd just been appointed as Pro Vice Chancellor at Victoria in the year 2000. And I thought, that's going to mark this occasion. And it's called Toiahurei, which is the Maori name or the Maori name of my position. So that's a special taonga indeed. A mere is a fighting weapon. It's used for thrusting. This sort of patu sort of invokes more to hit, whereas mere is to fly. It's a much quicker and subtle stroke. I was brought up in the 50s where a lot of the old meres already had and were still being buried because they were weapons of war. They'd been used to kill people. People wanted to put these to sleep and put them away. And I think we were some of the first generations that stood up and said, enough of bearing our cloaks and bearing our meres and so on. And if we do, well, then let's replace them. Things have a new life, and it's up to us to bring our families and our people along with this. So these have got a great history yet. We've already got a great history just in a short time.